The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
Em Rusciano
Jesus Christ, you give me an emotionally aware Viking, I'm a puddle.
and Michael Lucas.
Narrator. She did not mean that. She is not sorry.
This is Emsolation.
Oh, he's with a
Yeah,
girlfriend.
girlfriend.
Drama.
Correct.
You're in Emsolation.
Hello, welcome to Emsolation. This week we'll be discussing the book that has gripped my entire existence, the
And various parts of your body.
Midlife Manifesto, being called The Book of a Generation. It's called All Fours by Miranda July, and I finished it in 2 days. I've lots to say about that. We'll also be discussing Lonely Planet, the new offering in the genre of artistic white women taking young lovers in exotic settings, which I'm all for, by the way. And what else were we going to discuss?
Baby girl trailer.
The Baby Girl
Similar
trailer.
theme. We're very thematically consistent.
And I am off to the Wicked premiere in a few weeks, so we need to touch base on that. So welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Rusciano. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, a neurodivergent magic brain, and a podcaster. And together with my best friend since I was 11, screenwriter of such things like Party Tricks, Offspring. I went to say Outgrown. You didn't
I
write that one
made
correctly.
contributions, minor ones. but
Not
still.
many, but
No.
yes. You didn't write it.
No, I didn't write it.
Yes, Offspring, The Newsreader, Rosehaven.
Well,
You've
that was
been
the
on all the things.
Script editor.
Won
Yes.
many awards. Mr. Michael Lucas, welcome.
Thank you.
Where should we begin?
Well, I think start with Wicked because everything else is on the one theme. So it'll flow in.
Okay.
I suppose Wicked is really also speaking to the middle-aged lady. This middle-aged lady.
Well, this middle-aged lady, yes. Wicked is coming. Obviously, the movie is a mere 40-odd days away. Lots of promotion's been happening, and in my inbox landed an official invite to the Sydney, the Australian premiere of Wicked, and we were told that attending the premiere was Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jeff Goldblum, Jonathan Bailey, and the director,
Not Michelle Yeoh.
not
Interesting.
Michelle Yeoh. I didn't realise she was married to like an almost
billionaire?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't know that. Like I always wonder, like she's really selective with what she does, and she does a movie and goes away for a few years, and I'm like, I get it. I get it. Good for her.
Good for her.
Where's my
She's got a hell
button?
of a life.
And the director,
John M. Chu.
correct. So they will also be in Sydney.
Now you were aware of this premiere, but frankly, we thought it was more of the ensemble cast. We did not think there was no confirmation that Glinda and Elphaba themselves were going to be there. And it is, and because it's not only the premiere, you're also going to the press junket, correct?
Okay,
You
so-
could have an audience.
I think I do. I don't want to get my hopes up because I'm not a
No.
major media outlet. You know, we've got a decent audience, but I'm not, you know, Sunrise or a Murdoch Press or a Nova. But I am on the junket. What am I trying to say? Why can't I find words?
You're on the
today?
list?
Yeah, the schedule.
Okay.
I'm on the schedule. And usually with junkets, when I've done them before, yeah, they'll group. Ari and Cynthia will be together. Jonathan Bailey will probably be with Jeff. You know, they separate them out and you go in and you've got like, there's a PR girl with a massive like stopwatch going 5 minutes.
As featured in the movie Notting Hill, where Hugh Grant famously had to pretend to be from Horse and Hound.
Correct. So I am manifesting that I get to sit in front of the girls. Cynthia Erivo especially is a long time.
Oh, yes. It was
Hero.
pre-existing.
Yeah, I've loved her for a very long time, in awe of her capabilities, in awe of her as
Singer.
a person. She's
Her
possibly
personal style.
the greatest singer of our generation. I think Aretha would have loved her. She would have said, sink her, 100%.
Says that Defying Gravity is not the most difficult song she's had to sing.
I Am Here from The Colour Purple.
You could have already answered that question for her.
Absolutely.
But my only concern is that you're on the clock. How will you emotionally regulate getting into that room? Like, will you have to? There's got to be some sort of strategy, isn't there? Or
I don't know. The problem is I can only open the glistening wicked door and I'm trying to not gorge on the dopamine that this impending event is providing, because I can very easily become overwrought. Yes. And I feel it now, like my heart rate is racing because I'm not letting myself even think about it. I will prepare questions that will probably not get asked. I plan on making a statement with my outfit in the interview because both are fashion girlies. J-Bay, fashion girly. So Jeff Goldblum, fashion girly. So the look for the interview is as important, if not more, than the red carpet outfit. Red carpet outfit, custom. I've designed it with Lara from Zhivago, of course. We're doing a green kind of gladiator style because Gladiator is coming out, the same.
Oh.
So green gladiator
not on the
style.
same day. They've dodged the full Barbenheimer. It's a week later.
I feel like they should have kept it together. I think it would have worked.
I think it would have too. Although I do think that their audiences are even more similar than Oppenheimer Barbie.
Totally.
So
the girls and the gays.
Girls and the gays, 100%.
So the dress is floor length, green sequin, and it's got like a really shoulders and a structured kind of middle section, high slit. And then I've got a 3-meter train of bright pink fur. There's like a stole that goes over one shoulder, and then we'll flare out behind me on the carpet. And then in the interview, I've got this amazing structured blazer, which is like pink and green tweed. It looks with a big gold buckle belt. I'm going to make sure I've got amazing shoes because I need to engage all the fashion magpies as soon as I sit down.
What about Chella though?
Chella's not doing the interview.
No. But she's
also wearing a Zhivago green gown, red carpet.
As soon as the invitation came through, let it be known, I did text them immediately and said, obviously Chella must go.
Oh, there was she would not have.
Point. No, I knew. It's fair enough.
It's very gallant.
Look, I knew at that point I would be on that night flying solo, but at least I'm flying free.
So it's November 3rd, November 2nd, your birthday. So sorry. 2nd and 3rd.
Narrator, she did not mean that. She is not sorry.
She was partially sorry.
It was admirable that she recognised the need to vocalise the sorry.
Correct. Unusually self-aware. So November, 2nd and 3rd is the Wicked Weekend. I'm going to get Joel in at some point next week, and we're going to do a full, just special Wicked event where he and I just special interest dump on you all. I feel like there needs to be a choice that Emsolators make. I'm not going to put it on a regular rep because not everyone's as into Wicked as Joel and I are. If you think I have Wicked...
That's putting it mildly. I think very few people on the planet, I think if you had to... I mean, there must be some people that are more intensely into it.
We are, I would say...
Restrained?
Only out of 5 if 10 is the top Wicked girly.
Okay.
There are some people out there who literally follow the show around. I watched a video of a young man able to name every single alphabet from 4 different countries just by singing one line from The Wizard and I. And he was reeling out. He knew Gemma. He knew the Australian alphabets. That is another level of Wicked girly.
Gemma is considered on a global level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very respected. Gemma actually levels up in her battle cry runs, which not many people do. So I'm maintaining a quiet restraint, but it's really exciting. I have great hopes for the movie, but the fact that I get to sit in front of Ari and Cynthia and Jonathan Bailey, obviously that's exciting. Jeff Goldblum, great. But Cynthia Erivo for me this is meeting a hero. It's very exciting.
Their PR rollout, I mean, they should be liaising with Kamala's team because it is, I mean, they are everywhere. They have been for months. Everything's a winner. No, their chemistry is brilliant.
I want them everywhere.
Ariana did Saturday Night Live just this weekend, which is available on Binge, and
good for her.
She did very well. She
nailed it.
I have in the past been a Grande skeptic.
Yes.
But I have to bow down. She was funny. and she performed really well.
I had to sit and watch her with bright red hair back in the day when my children watched her in I can't remember
that
what it's called,
show.
something everywhere or
Yeah.
and she was the ditzy character.
Nickelodeon
yeah,
show,
it was
right?
Nickelodeon, and Chella was obsessed with her. I think her name was Kat. So I've been aware of her. I always knew her as kind of a funny, quirky. And then when she said, "God, I hate America," in a clip of when she was looking at giant donuts with her then boyfriend, I thought she's one of us.
Yeah.
And sure, she, like Madonna, sometimes appropriates other people's cultures and maybe has the spray tan set to the wrong setting and reinvents herself depending on the genre she is in.
Sure.
But I think Ariana Grande is a great talent. I'm very confident in her ability to imbue the essence of Glinda.
And if you log on to SNL, check out her Celine impersonation, obviously. And also she would have definitely seen Titanic because her brother was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also she did a great sketch with Bo and Yang where they played competitive charades players, and she played like a middle-aged Midwestern mother. She committed. She also played
Jennifer Coolidge.
a castrati
Oh, that's right.
singer in like medieval Italy, and she sold it. She's won me. She's won me.
Good. Well, God, breathe a sigh
last.
of relief, Ariana.
She must be so relieved.
Woo! She's all of a sudden, she just felt a weight lift off her shoulders and she
That's
doesn't
right.
know why.
And unclenching.
It's very good. Watch it. It is on binge. Okay. It seems as though finally society and marketing and capitalism is cluing into the fact that women over 40 are a legitimate sector to market products to. Who'd have fucking thought it?
And we're not just talking about washing powders, which is typically what they were marketed.
And still, I would say we are in our infancy of corporations figuring out that we have disposable income. We're looking for things to change. We're hitting a different part of our life, biologically, mentally, and we are open to something new.
And willing to throw
Whatever.
time, energy, possibly even money at trauma.
Absolutely. And it's just always baffled me. And the reason I make the things that I make is because I look around for a salve for myself and I'm thinking it's either for the very, very young or the very, very old. There's no middle ground. Even when you walk into, say, a Mecca or even just with fashion, I can't find anything between every part of the top cut out with things hanging out or like a sensible slack and a button-up shirt. They still haven't figured out fashion for my age.
Yeah.
They just have not. I'm going to start with Lonely Planet. I watched the Netflix's
Movie,
new offering,
a romance.
and it is in the take an Oscar-winning actress, have her play an artist, give her a young lover, press play, add water.
Yeah.
It stars Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah.
It's set in Marrakesh at a
course.
writer's retreat. And I have to say,
Relatable.
so relatable. If I had $1. But the thing that surprised me about this was Hemsworth.
Okay.
He's won me.
Because you were loyal to Miley, weren't
So
you?
loyal to Miley.
Yeah.
Loyal to Miley. Still loyal to Miley.
Yeah, of course.
But there was something about him in this movie where I was like, he's a matinee idol.
Yeah. Is he playing with an Australian accent or is he no American?
Great American
Great,
accent.
okay,
Couldn't fault
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Couldn't fault it. He's playing a finance bro with a heart of gold who understands women, grew up with 5 sisters.
Wow. Really sounds like a plausible person that exists in this world.
So they turn up to this writer's retreat. He's there with his girlfriend, Lily.
He's with a
Yeah,
girlfriend.
his girlfriend. So instantly.
Drama?
Correct. Instantly, I'm like, how am I going to be okay with these two getting together? They make Lily incredibly unlikable and she cheats on him. So it's
Okay,
fine.
well, there we go.
Whatever.
Problem solved.
Yeah, it was fine. But I was skeptical. I'm like, he's not even single.
Yeah.
What's happening? So he turns up to the writer's retreat as the plus one, the only plus one there. And all the writers are being writerly and smoking hashish and living the Marrakesh life. And he's just like a fish out of water. And Laura Dern's character, she's there trying to finish her book. I can't. I need quiet. Yeah, sure. So if you need quiet, go to a writer's retreat in Marrakesh. I mean, that makes total sense.
I was about to ask the question. We're both right. How come we've never been to writers' retreats apart from the obvious financial impediments?
And then she's there and she's like, This room is too beautiful. This room is too sumptuous. I need a cupboard to write in. Put me in a cupboard. It was just like, sure.
So relatable.
Yeah. And then
Does she have a family? Is she?
she was with a sculptor
Of
and they
course.
split up because he said to her she doesn't know how to love somebody.
Oh, right. Oh, she needs a lesson.
And who could be there to teach her that lesson?
better?
Who better than a giant slab of a Hemsworth?
Yeah. Would you say most attractive Hemsworth? Not that we need to rank them, but if we were to. Are you considering? I can see you looking Chris Liam. Other one, not so much.
What's the other one's name?
I don't
Luke.
know. Luke.
I've met him. He's lovely.
That's what you want to hear when it's a question of.
No, it's just hard because he's a foot shorter than the other two.
Yes.
Can't see their heads all in a row. It's hard to compare them.
Would you, if you had to, because it might come a point where you have to choose between Chris and Liam?
Liam.
Okay.
Yeah. It just seems like he seems to be more evolved than Chris, weirdly. And I imagine being married to Miley Cyrus would evolve one's thinking. She's pretty out there. Like she's pretty free-spirited.
And they were together and then they separated and then they got back together.
Yeah.
So he's come back for more.
Yeah. And he likes a strong woman, I think we've established. In this, though, Laura Dern's character is, she's furiously writing in a Marrakesh cupboard and they keep running into each other. You wouldn't believe that. And then he just all of a sudden just feels very protective over her and just starts following her around to make sure she's okay.
Okay.
Because his girlfriend, Lily, is just so busy with the other writers.
Okay.
Then they have the big bust up and then,
she consoles him.
and then there's this one line that ended me where he's like nuzzling into her neck, Laura Dern's neck, when she's consoling him about life. And she says, I could really fall for a kid like you. So, kid, what? And Liam heard me and he cracked the shits there and he said, kid, is that how you see me?
Yes.
So he stands up and he storms off.
Isn't he like 35 as well?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're meant to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's older.
Yeah, okay,
He's
yeah,
not,
yeah,
he's not
yes,
in
yes.
his teenage years. He's just a big slab of a man. So off they go. They have their adventures. Things happen. There's only one sex scene. It's very vanilla.
Is
It's not,
it?
it's not giving me. I think Anne Hathaway, that had more eroticism about it.
Yes.
This was like, I'm giving it 2 fanny flutters.
Okay.
There was a gentle breeze uponsed my outer labia, perhaps.
Anne Hathaway's one really made you aware of when the moment of
was
insertion
hot.
was.
But only-
remember that time in the hotel where?
Yeah. Even just the kissing on the piano.
That's
there
right.
But there wasn't a lot of eroticism. And there also wasn't a lot of, I would say, chemistry between Laura Dern and, because they
really?
kind of look like mother and son.
Well,
And when she's calling him kid, believable.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all in all, a lovely offering. In the new genre of take an Oscar-winning actress in her middle age and give her a hot young lover in an exotic location.
And what is
More,
the
please.
peak of that genre at the moment? Is Anne still coming up trumps for
I
you?
would say so. Anne is still coming up trumps. I would think, but yes, more please. The same reason the Kristen, what's that show, Nobody Wants This, with Adrian Brody.
They're the
and,
same age.
what?
They're the same age.
No, but it's the same reason. No, the same reason these shows are hitting correctly
right.
is the way they are portraying romance and eroticism and emotional love and men actually being emotionally available. Because that's the fantasy for
Yeah, I was
us.
going to say. So what we're saying is the fantasy genre.
The fantasy is emotionally available straight men. That's the fantasy, and people are finally starting to figure
Whilst
that
in
out.
real life, they all scuttle off to vote for Trump.
Yes. Netflix has realised how fucking low the bar is for us.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you don't need to give us gladiatorial Avengers with big hammers, do it with CGI stuff. Just give us a bloke that can look us in the eye and say, I love you too. And you're not too much for me.
Not that you're shutting the door on gladiatorial men
Give
or
me both.
Vikings even.
Why
That's
not
right.
both?
Combine the two.
Jesus Christ, you give me an emotionally aware Viking, I'm a puddle.
I killed a bear and wrote a poem about it, as said by Dr. Patrick in
You knew.
well, that was not me, but yes.
Lonely Planet, I'm giving it 2 fanny flutters out of 5, but 5 out of 5 for watchability.
So good if you want to flutter and you're not going to be
Perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect. It's Marrakesh is stunning. The surrounds look beautiful.
Nice gowns, beautiful gowns.
Nice gowns, beautiful gowns.
Is it nice gowns, beautiful gowns?
No, there's a lot of linen.
Okay,
It's
sure.
hot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of motorbike riding, a lot of dirt.
It's sort of
Desert.
giving me Under the Tuscan Sun vibes. Am I in the right territory? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's get to the moment at hand, though. There's a book I've been reading. I didn't even wait for the harp. There's a book I've been reading. It's called All Fours by Miranda July, and it is the manifesto of a generation of women. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. It's
No.
the truth. Every single person I know has messaged me over the last few months. Em, you have to read this book. You have to read. You know,
Yes,
what,
which,
you know
which
what
is
that
a
does to me.
turn off.
It does to me. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell me what to read.
Shuts her down.
I'm not reading it.
It's a real conundrum to recommend something to Em because you know that the very act of doing it has actually lessened the chances. I don't know what is the appropriate way to sort of wind chime it into you.
The appropriate way is I've been reading this book and it made me think of you for quite a few different reasons. And I wondered if you'd heard about it. Maybe you might want to check it out. That's the way you do it. Because my body perceives you must as a demand, and then I go into protection.
Is it that you want to feel like you've discovered it as well, or
No, it's more I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like people assuming what I will like. But given you know my taste level probably better than anyone else, so I do take your recommendations seriously. No, it's more I have PDA, which I know now. I have a PDA profile, persistent drive for autonomy, and it's an autistic profile.
yeah?
And
I've heard that. I just went straight to public display of affection. I'm
no,
sorry. Really?
and a lot of autistic people experience that, and then we take suggestions as threats and demands. Or if somebody says, "Go and do this" or "Go and do that," absolutely not. Even if I wanted to in that moment, now I cannot do it. My body goes. So there's ways around that. We do it with Elio. We suggest, "Hey, do you reckon it's time to have a shower
But don't
now?"
sometimes with Elio you actually say, whatever you do, Elio, do not have a shower.
Yes, sometimes we do that. That's another way to do it. I am unfortunately 45 and not 5. So if somebody says that to me, I'm like, I know you're doing reverse psychology, babes. Yeah,
What
I
a
don't think
shame.
we've got much longer with the reverse psychology working. Anyway, it is one of the most beautifully written books I've ever read. Parts of it are like staring into the sun and a bit close to the bone. And I do understand why people read this book, in that it's a 45-year-old mother who's a performer and artist who, is feeling like she doesn't fit into her life anymore. Like so many women my age wake up and look around their life and think, I don't match the storyline anymore.
And we should just say, her life is happy. It's not like her marriage
And
is
that's
solid.
why this book is hitting. Her life is happy. She's married to a good guy. There's no reason for us to think, she's justified in blowing it all up.
Totally.
That's the absolute fucking genius of this book, because this writer, she's been able to articulate in this incredible way the push-pull between desire and domesticity, and feeling safe but wanting adventure, and knowing that you have this beautiful anchoring in a family, but also daring to want more for yourself, even though society says that you are really fucking selfish for doing that. Why would you? So many women, older women, say to women my age, ride out these 5 years, 10 years of hell. Don't blow up your life, because on the other side, you'll be so glad you've still got your husband, your job, and your relationships. So many women say that. And then when you're in the thick of it now, you're like, no, I'm going to die if I don't make a drastic change. So I think that's why this book has had such a profound impact on women who are also giving it to their husbands to read. And I would say to anyone who is going through the change of life, someone called it the second spring the other day, and I wanted to punch them in the throat.
The second spring.
There's a whole event being promoted to talk about menopause stuff, and they've called it the second spring. I'm like, is the spring taking place on the 7th circle of hell? Makes it sound like I'm going to skip through a meadow of days.
But also, I don't think season of spring. I think burst of water, which is not.
None of that happening.
You also the premise of it as well. Well, I mean, weirdly, I'm only 100 pages in. So Em keeps saying, just you wait. And I went into it. The only reason I started reading it was because literally everyone that I knew was reading it. And I felt like, well, there must be something here. I'm the opposite of you. I hear everyone's reading it, I was like, fine. But so she is going what appears to be a road trip by herself without her husband and her child. She's going to drive across the country from California to New York and then back. But then we get into it and we find out she's not in fact doing that. She veers into a small town where she stops at a motel and then completely renovates a room to her specifications. so she can sit in a space of her own and presumably
have an adventure.
Don't
give too much more away.
No, but let's just say there's a man in the mix and I don't know what's going to happen.
Not what you think.
I'm sensing that.
So, part 2, there's a real twist in the storyline that you don't see coming. I certainly didn't see it coming. My brain desperately tries to form patterns so that I understand what's happening and coming so I don't get anxious about it. But there is a twist in part 2 that I didn't see coming. And the way that it ends too, like I'm glad that people in heterosexual relationships are having discussions. Like I can see how I'm going to desperately try and get Scott to read it also, because there's just this language that she does use that, and it's so universal in that not every woman, you reach 45 and you look at a graph, and there's a graph in the book, I don't know if you've got to that page yet, that shows what happens to estrogen and testosterone. And you get to 45 and estrogen does that and testosterone just keeps going. Men just wander around, walking through fields.
Like nothing's changed.
Whistling dandy, everything. They just keep going. But there is this cliff. And I didn't know that desire, I didn't realize at this age, all of a sudden, even if you are in a really happy marriage, your desire evaporates biologically. And it's undeniable. And so all of a sudden, you do think, oh my God, my ability to cope with all the things I've learned to cope with or are part of my everyday life, the unwritten agreements I have with my husband, my kids, my friends on how I show up, the way I've made them get used to that, I can no longer show up as that person. What the fuck do you do? Like you need to switch out the main character in your life, and that's you. And this book articulates that emotion so in such a way, like I kept having to put the book down.
Well, also the other interesting thing that I'm keen to get your opinion on. So what's, I think, particular to this era that we're living in now is that women are going through that, but often when they've still got kids in relatively early childhood, like she's got a 6-year-old or something like that. And of course that's new in society. Like, if we went back to even the 70s, it would have been that women would have been saying like their kids would have been moving out of home when they were hitting this period of their lives. And you've got the experience of you've got one set of kids that are essentially there, and then you've got both, although I guess you didn't get to really reap whatever rewards might be there of having the kids like move on into adulthood because you went through. But the fact of menopause hitting whilst you've still got a child who is very, very, very dependent on you, what's your Yelp rating for that sort of experience? Are you glad that you've still got a child?
Yeah.
Obviously you're glad for him to be there.
Yeah, I think Elio's getting a really honest version of me that the girls didn't get. And he and I have real conversations around fluctuating moods and emotions. And I just think I'm the most me I've ever been now, even though I'm in this great undoing and unraveling. And I do feel like I'm finally kind of maybe turning and facing toward the person I'm meant to be, even though everything feels like it's been raised, like it's gone. But I think I'm glad Elio is there because he does give me a sense of like he's my pull back to who I would like to be and how I'd like to show up in the world, and I want to be my best for him because he's such a pure, as only autistic kids can be. He's so honest and he's so innocent. I'm also not going through menopause yet. I'm in perimenopause, which is hectic. And you're in postmenopause for the rest of your life till you die. You don't have estrogen. It doesn't come back. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But it does begin in your 40s, and it does make you question all the agreements you made in your 20s when you had no business making those agreements.
You made some strong agreements.
I really did. I really did. So I think I'm glad to have Elio while I'm going through this huge change in my life. I'm glad that I do have a 6-year-old. He keeps me young. He keeps me out of my head. When he's with me, I'm really present with him because he demands that. He's like, look at me. So I'm glad. And I also am glad I have my girls who I can have really honest conversations with about what's happening for me. But it's
happily your parents are still living independently and in good health.
Yes. Yeah.
Which a lot of people our age are also getting that part of the sandwich as well.
Yeah. But I think read this book, even if you're not a reader and you find it, get the audio book. But it's such an incredible articulation of that moment in a woman's life where, you're kind of at the apex and then descension out of your sexuality and the way you feel about sex and the way you feel about your body and who you are as a person and what you want the next 20 years to look like, 30 years. You know, you're on your way. Your youth is all about ascending and what's next and hitting those milestones, and you've got things to look forward to, and then you do reach your 40s and maybe you've checked those boxes, and then you start to realize, especially if you're a woman, holy shit, my body is starting to deteriorate and the red light goes on, and you have to decide how you're going to deal with that and address it. And you do. I have woken up and felt like I've been placed in the wrong life, and that's how I've been feeling. Like I don't fit the character role anymore, and I'm not the only one. And I love that she has written this book, and I was listening to her talk about, she knew that it was risky writing and she knew that she would be putting herself in the firing line, but she also felt safe in the knowledge that she wasn't the only one feeling like she was feeling.
The other part of it is so exciting is Miranda July. She's a filmmaker as well. And she's been kicking around for 20 years. Like when she was in her late 20s, she made this film, Me and You and Everyone We Know. And she's sort of been bubbling away as a little indie. But this is, out of everything she's done, this is the thing that has struck such a chord and just become an absolute bestseller. No doubt there will be a screen adaptation. I mean, it's inevitable.
I don't know how they're going to do that. That is wild to me. I can't wait. It needs to be 8 episodes. I don't know who I want to play all the characters. I'll start thinking about that. But, look, also, I've talked about all these shows that Netflix have released. They're all white women. We also need to be intersectional with our midlife crisis feminism because certainly perimenopause and menopause hits women of colour in a completely different way, and then neurodivergence on top of that also. But, I think this book will change your life. And I want you to get your husband to commit or your partner to commit to reading it. I think men could really benefit from, like, it's almost like an insider how-to secret manual if they really want to understand you and the very specific emotion that you are feeling as a woman over 40. This is the book.
We'll take the Joe Lucas approach. She did at age 9 give me Jermaine Gurier's The Change to read.
Good. All right, we're moving into the sealed section where we will be discussing Nicole Kidman's new film, Baby Girl, and doing an OK Stop. I wanted to do a whole thing about Outgrown today. I feel like I don't think I've done justice. I had all these plans to talk about things today, and I feel very sidetracked about it all. I don't know why. A foggy perimenopause. I just wanted to say, especially, I'm putting this show on the 7th, and I am a woman of a certain age that you can choose to support, and you can choose to encourage other women of our age to be brave and make decisions and go against what other people do. And I'm also thinking about putting out an album next year, and who starts a pop career at 45? And
It's you and Susan Boyle.
Yeah, and we only don't do that, ladies, because society tells us that we reach our use-by date at 40. So I'm so heartened to see all these books and movies coming forth. And so I ask you all to come to the show if you like me and if you enjoy my work, to just keep encouraging women like us to be brave and bold and make shit and put it out into the universe so that society changes its ideas about us. But that's, I had a whole thing I wanted to say. But anyway, that's it for the main episode of Emsolation. Sealed section is coming up now. Thanks for joining us. Okay, bye.
Give yourself the gift of Emsolation Extra for less than $2 a week and get 2 bonus episodes every week, close friends access on Instagram, pre-sales ticket priority and merch discounts. There's even exclusive video episodes each week on our Extra tier. Find out more at emsolation.supercast.com now. Emsolation with Em Rossiano is recorded at Down the Hill Studios, hosted by Em Rossiano with Michael Lucas, executive produced by Benjamin Worsley, produced by Em Rossiano, edited by Ezekiel Fan with videos by James Henderson, socials by Benjamin Worsley, Em Rossiano and Marcella Rossiano Barrow, with assistance from Jem Evans and Isabella Hines. You'll find links to get more Emsolation on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we can't wait to chat with you again soon.